What is up, YouTube? I have Ovi Clapbomb today, a special guest. We're going to be talking about the draft, some predictions we have for the season, as well as, Bedard's growth, Frondell, Voslov, and Mason West. So how you doing, Ovi?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm anxiously awaiting the season and to see how the boys come out. I think it's really important to instantly see a little bit of a change at the start of the season. If we come out, and I know the schedule is not out, but if we come out and like lose to Arizona night one in a blowout, like uh, the vibes are going to start off on a not great place. And overall, I want a season with higher vibes. We're gonna get a top draft pick, top six draft pick likely, almost guaranteed. So in general, I'm excited to see a team with the vibes up a little bit.
So were you a little surprised that the Blackhawks had the offseason they had, where they got Ryan Donato, but re-signed Ryan Donato, but got Burakovsky and Sam Lafferty, and that was the Blackhawks two additions?
No, like as much as like I like to have fun with, you know, the idea that certain guys might come here, or what would it be like if Marner came here, or Ehlers would how would he fit in? As fun as it is to kind of speculate on that, and like the reality is we kind of knew that this was coming. And the more you kind of try to project this opening lineup on night one, the more it's kind of like, well, damn, we really didn't need to sign anybody because we already have a logjam of prospects coming up. Like there's just so many names that are going to be fighting for spots. That if you brought in, I mean, Marner's a little bit different, but if you brought in like other guys who are available, it'd just be competition for them. And I think some of these young guys are going to surprise in terms of like how impactful they are. And I think it's a smart move. I think we bought into the youth movement, or I did at least a couple of years ago, and we knew that it was kind of going to be a period uh, of not fun hockey where we were going to be losing games. We were going to be accumulating weapons, and letting them sit in the arsenal. And now we're at the part where these weapons can kind of be slowly rolled in. This is the first season we finally get to see the fruits of our demise, if that makes sense. Like we had all those years and all those hard to watch seasons, and now we finally get to see Sam Rinzel. We finally get to see Oliver Moore. We're gonna see, maybe we see Lardis. Maybe we see I don't know at the end of the year. Maybe is there a chance we see Cancerov at the end of the year? Like we're gonna see these guys roll in, and I think we'll really start to get a picture of how that's gonna go. Because right now we don't really know. It's kind of like we have all these good prospects, and it really could lead to something special. But until we see it out on the ice, it's gonna be tough. But yeah, no, I'm more or less just excited to finally see the youth. Like I've always been a guy who's really interested in rookies and the young guys coming in. So to have like a team that's like built fully with that philosophy is exciting. I mean, um, it's unique, but it's exciting. And yeah, I know I went off the tracks a little bit there.
Yeah.
But I don't think I expected this to come. And I think like the amount of new young talent coming in is almost just it's going to be like we signed people. And also on that topic, we kind of learned from last year where it was like, oh, Bertuzzi wasn't really where we wanted him to be. Teravainen was good, but like we expected him to play with Bedard more. Uh, Things like that. So I think the strategy of going out and signing a bunch of guys to plug, I think we did that last year. We got up to the cap floor. I think now is the time to start embracing the young guys and start giving them opportunity to fight for spots in the lineup. And then when now you'll see if guys are good enough and if guys are going to have a spot, and then next year after, then we can start looking at trades for big pieces and big signings. But I think right now is really just uh, who's going to be here in the future, who's going to play for a spot, and who wants to be a Hawk and who wants to win here. So I think that's exciting. We have a lot of kids with a lot to prove, and that's going to be fun.
Yeah, like the Blackhawks had Vlasic kind of just like come out of nowhere. And there's going to be like a forward prospect that does the exact same thing. Like if it's like you get a full season of Frank Nazar, who I think is going to take a big jump. He obviously was a breakaway machine. You have like you said, Kanserov and Lardis, who probably are going to make big impacts in 2026, 27, not 25, 26, but 26,
Yeah.
27. And you know, the Blackhawks have Vanacker, Boivois, Mason West, Nestrasil all in the like works. I just feel like the Blackhawks assets are just so dominant compared to other like fan bases, other than like the Sharks, the Ducks, the Habs, but like a lot of them you're seeing those players. So like is there an underrated prospect that you always like think about that might not be talked about a lot that you're like this guy could actually be a star?
Oh man, I mean, there's a couple. Like, I mean, your own prospect base is always going to stand out, like more on your own favorite team. Like you have more faith in all of these guys than you would San Jose prospects, stuff like that. Not that they don't have a great pool, but yeah, there's a couple. Like I think, like AJ Spellicy, I still think is going to be like the best bottom six player in the league for like 10 years. Like the guy's built like a cigarette machine this offseason too. He plays a pro game. I can see him making the team out of camp. I think because of the logjam with all the people trying to make the team, I don't think he will because I think there's just other players that they'll want in that position. But I could see AJ Spelcy making the decision hard, really tough for them this year. He almost made the team out of camp last year, and it was his first year, and he doesn't necessarily benefit from junior. He's a pro style player. He plays a heavy physical game. Like he plays a playoff style game already. So it might be more beneficial. Have him over. Unfortunately, AHL is not an option, so it's CHL or NHL, so it'll probably be CHL. But I think Spellacy is one that sticks out a lot. Um, I think Kanserov maybe is one that people forget about. Like just point per game almost in the KHL. He had stretches where he was just dominant. He was very clutch. I know he's a smaller guy, but he's got a little bit of that Nazar in him where he's a dog on a bone. And so I could see him coming over and making an impact. And then all of a sudden we have this dynamic winger playing next to 98 or whoever we need. When I started, like, there's just so many, man. You go down, and then it's like I haven't even mentioned Beauvoir, who's like, what's he gonna look like at BU? Is BU right? He's playing for BU.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like going to BU, he could have a breakout season, man. Like Mason West, if he decides to play hockey, could I don't think it's crazy to say that's a top three pick on a redraft like 5 years down the line, if everything goes perfect, because we don't really know what Mason West's ceiling is because he hasn't fully committed to hockey, but he is a specimen, man. He's a 17-year-old, 6 foot 6'5", 6 foot
Yeah, and a
six, six
quarter.
foot at
6'6" and a quarter.
220 pounds already. Like he'd literally, I'm several years older than him, but he would throw me through the end wall and I would never be like, this guy's going to be a menace. And I think he's like a lock to be a third line guy, but he has to choose hockey, obviously. Um, Underrated, man. Like, I don't know, maybe like an attribute of a prospect I think is underrated or maybe overlooked is like how many guys have touched 70 before?
Yeah,
How many guys have touched
so true.
70? Like not a lot. Like if you in the OHL, the names he's next to is Eric Lindros and Tavares, and those are both like pretty good players. Hardest thing to do in the NHL is to score. So when you see like 70 goal scorer, but then you're like, oh, he's small and he's got to work on this and this, and he might be in the AHL for like this year, for a while, but maybe he just can rip the biscuit, and maybe he just like that's, maybe like he's like the Brinkat, like maybe he just comes in because he can score and works through it all as he's in the league. So like, I don't know. There's just so many. It's hard to pick one. We just have an abundance of weapons on the way, and like the amount we have is like we're sure to hit. on a few. Like it's bound that a few of these players end up being effective NHL players, and if that happens, like we're in a good place.
Yeah, it's like even like John Mustard, Nathan Bame,
Yeah.
like Vanacker is so good. It's just like there's so many prospects at the end of the day, like the Blackhawks are going to be able to acquire any superstar that they want that is available. I know that the Blackhawks haven't done so.
Kaprizov, Kirill Kaprizov.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly do think that he would be the perfect fit for Connor Bedard, have like a
Mm.
Kane and Panarin-esque vibe. Obviously, Kane and Panarin were basically soulmates. That's what Barstool Chief said.
Oh my
Like,
God. Yeah.
there's only like five handful of duos that have ever come in and were on the same mental mindset, hockey IQ, and also personality-wise, where they
Yeah.
had that bromance too. I just feel like Bedard needs that, but Frondell, dude, like he's gonna tear it up in the SHL this year.
Oh man.
The
Yeah. So
like,
Frondell's just like he's sick, man. He's got a demeanor about him too, where he's like
yeah,
he's quietly confident, and he's confident but not like cocky, and like he seems like a team guy. Like staying at the draft to congratulate all his future
yeah.
teammates is like that's a classy move. I envision him being a very impactful player for the team. Selfishly, I kind of wanted to see him this year, but I think it's a better trajectory to go to Sweden. I feel like it's better development, but I just like I want to see him play. I think once you see him next to Bedard, uh, I think it's going to be pretty exciting. Uh,
I think it's
yeah,
better for everybody involved because Bedard's gonna need
yeah,
to be more Bedard this year and shoot. And then I feel like the once he terrorizes the league this year, because me and you both agree that he probably will have that bounce back. It's not even a bounce back, just breakout year,
yeah.
100
Can I
point
touch
plus
on that
maybe.
for a? Can I
Yeah,
touch
go
on that
ahead.
here for a second? I think people have forgotten how good Connor Bedard is at hockey. I think like he had an electric rookie season coming out of the WHL where he was like single-handedly winning that Regina team games. He had a sophomore slump this year, yet was still our top point producer. Was playing with like literal third liners. He had 1,000 different line combinations this year. He was coached by nice guy Luke Richardson, who's a nice guy, but I don't know much other than that. Anders Sorensen is a wash because he's an interim coach. Guys never had a solid coach behind him or a competent coaching staff. I like Luke Richardson. He's a nice guy. Um, I think we're going to see more competency with Blashill. Point being,
Yeah.
Connor Bedard's a special player. When Blackhawks won the lottery, the amount of jealousy that was oozing throughout other fan bases was insane. I had people texting me like congratulations that I hadn't heard for in like 6 years. Hey man, like congratulations on getting Bedard. Oh fuck, like I haven't heard from you since junior high school, man. It's nice to talk to you. Like I just got married or something. Um, and like it took 2 seasons of mediocre hockey that we knew was coming. We didn't know this season I would say was going to be as bad as it was, but like 2 losing seasons and like people are like, Bedard's not that good. He's not generational. It's just like, man, like he is special. He's got an offensive mind that not a lot of guys have, combined with the skill, and he's got the determination of all the greats. He's got that Sidney Crosby like determination where he's just gonna work his ass off. Like he would sleep on the ice if he could. Um, so I think with like a more competent coaching staff, people who can kind of point him in the right direction, because he did have like I don't like the term pond hockey, but like he had junior in his game, and like Biz was not wrong talking about that. He needs to work some of that out. He needs to keep some of that because that's what makes him magic. And guys like Nikita Kucherov have a little bit of pond hockey in their game, but it's the other stuff. I just think Bedard's going to be so fucking good. I don't know why the fan base stresses them out so much. He loves Chicago. He's going to be one of the captaincy, like he's going to be on the captaincy group one in a few years' time. He'll have an A or a C, and he's going to be like a point per game player lock who is going to show up in the clutch moments in the playoffs, and that's his floor. That's his floor. Like you know what I mean? Like he's yeah. people forgot how good Connor Bedard is, and I just needed to get that off my chest.
It's kind
Recency
of
bias with Celebrini too. Great player, but come on, guys, it's and
I
then it's gonna
think
be McKenna. Then it's gonna be McKenna, and people are like,
yeah.
Celebrini's not that good, man. Look at this McKenna kid. Like it's the new rook, the new shiny toy, the new iPhone, like whatever it. You know what I mean? Like it's but
Like
Bedard
Meats
is
is going to
working in
come
the
in.
background.
DuPont's going to come in after McKenna. There's just so much elite talent that's coming into the game, and I think that it's just because of how much the development in all these different leagues has kind of increased. I mean, talking about a prospect that we didn't talk about, Ryan Green. He's actually working out with Ivan Demidov right now, which is
Oh,
interesting. All those
okay.
clips, he's on the ice with Ryan. He's on the ice with Ryan Green, like because I guess the thing is that he I guess dates Kent Hughes' daughter or girl or something like that.
Oh, he
Uh
does. He does.
so
Yeah.
so he works out with in Montreal a lot. So all those Demidov clips, Ryan Green's learning from him. And obviously, like I feel like that's just an underrated prospect that could make our system make the
He
Blackhawks
just
again.
comes in like first one. He's just making like lateral fucking between the legs and just doing Demidov shit. What the Ryan
Yeah.
Green? I didn't know you had it in you. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
So just like the fact that I like that the Blackhawks not necessarily going to bring Frondell into the fold unless he obviously has an incredible preseason and you can't. But one,
Mhm.
it helps the McKenna race. It helps get a bottom five team, but also it helps Bedard kind of shoot more. He would be kind of more pass first, I think, that if he had Frondell on his line, just try to help the kid out. And his shot is absolutely nuts. So you're going to get a team trying to defend Bedard, and then you get Frondell, who's in one of the best leagues in the entire league. The SHL is not like
Yeah,
a
it's I
junior
think I
league.
asked around. It was like fourth best league in the world. Like it's
I think it's
uh,
two, three. I think it's
or
three,
three.
honestly.
Yeah, it was NHL, KHL, SHLH, or so like something.
Mhm.
Anyway, it's like it's an amazing league. It's kind of cool that he's playing for the team that like he promoted to. Like he gets to see
Yeah.
that out. Um, so I think yeah, I think Frondell is gonna be exciting, and I think yeah, you're right. It's got to be a little bit more about Bedard. We need Bedard to take the reins of a line and shoot the puck, rip the biscuit like he did in that fucking Matrix video where he's literally breaking the space time continuum. Somehow
Yeah.
getting that puck in the top cheddar there is insane.
That was such a
Um,
good video. I mean, that dude can snipe a puck from anywhere. And the thing is, like, a lot of people are talking about Frondell. Like, Frondell could snipe a puck. That dude has an incredible heavy shot. Like, those two on a power play together,
that
plus Lardis, plus Cancerov. Like,
yeah, that's why I'm like not even like if Bedard doesn't become like a let's just say his whole career he's just like a playmaker. Like he has a deadly shot, but he's a more pass first mentality because and he's such a good playmaker, man. Like he can really drive it. If you have him, you know, just quarterback in a power play and just kind of you know dancing around the zone doing what he needs to, and then you just have Frondell over on that right circle, just you know getting pucks off the board, getting the Bedard, getting open, and just ripping the one timers. I think that could be a great combination. Like you said, Lardis too. We have guys who can shoot. Um, obviously, we want Bedard to be a goal scorer too because he can do both. But I think Frondell is going to be a great addition to this team. Like I could see him being one of those puzzle pieces that kind of helps you see the picture, like really see the picture. So.
yeah, and the thing is, like, when you have Mason West, Václav Nestrasil, and some of these guys that the Blackhawks kind of took chances on, if one of them hits, I think that they could be a top line player with Bedard and Frondell. I mean, just think about the chemistry that Vaslav and Anton can have because they've played together since they were nine. I mean, played against
Oh
in
yeah.
Italy, but like
Yep.
you got two players that were roommates together at the dev camp, and then are both in the same rookie class. I feel like that was just phenomenal. Getting Vaslav at 25, like what was your reaction to that?
Oh yeah, you know, man, it's been a while that we've been uh into Nestrasil. It was a buddy Maxwell months ago kind of sold me on him. It's like, look at this like He's starting to heat up second half of the year, like 6'5", really would be what the Hawks are missing. I'm like, damn, this sounds perfect. It's like, yeah, hopefully we draft him and then he ends up at 25. I loved it. And I loved it even more than that West ended up. Like those two together at the end of the first round was like, okay, that like just left me feeling really, really good. I think um yeah, I think that left the fan base feeling good because Mason West was a little bit more of like a sexy like pick, if that makes sense. Like I think Mason West was probably the one most talked about post draft, like maybe even more than Frondell. People are just like, here's this high school quarterback. But I screamed so loud when we got Nestor Sill. It was like 11:30 at night in Halifax. My poor neighbors probably thought I was, yeah, I was not doing too hot at Call of Duty or something. But um, it was exciting. He's gonna take a bit. Like that's the thing. I think he's like 3 years away. Like I could see him playing 2 years at UMass, a year in the AHL, and then in the lineup, depending. Like lots can change year to year, obviously. But thrilled with Nestor Sill. Grew up a Hawks fan. His dad is an absolute beauty on Twitter. Just overall, it seems like a match made in heaven. Couldn't be happier for the kid. Couldn't be happier for the organization. And yeah, I see him being a Swiss Army knife when he's at his best, where you could slide him in the fourth line and just throw guys to the end wall, or you could throw him up on the top line with Bedard and have him net front presence, puck retrieving, a little bit of violent side to him. So love the Nestor pick. Love it. You know that
Yeah.
we've been gushing over Nestor. I felt you when the pick was taken. I felt the joy that was coming from Don. It's like wherever Don is, I know that he is smiling ear to ear right now.
Yeah, I was sitting next to Ezra, the broadcaster of Muskegon Lumberjacks, which was Vaslav's team. We were sitting together, and Ezra screamed like that the Blackhawks got him. And I was just like so excited. Like we were both so happy. I would have screamed a lot louder, but we were in the media section and you're not supposed to celebrate.
Oh
But
yeah, buddy. I'd be on one knee doing the pumpernickel.
dude,
You know what?
I was up on my feet because I was excited, but Ezra screamed. So everyone turned and looked at me and I was like, I didn't scream. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I am an unbiased hockey reporter. I'm
Yeah,
unbiased here. No,
yeah.
go Hawks.
But like I feel like that was the best moment of the entire draft. Like no one else screamed like that. I don't know. I think that
No,
the
and
NHL.
we were in a Discord with a couple of guys, and that was like when that pick happened. People were like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, yeah, Hawks fans like that one. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who had no idea who the pick was. Um,
Yeah.
the casuals, and that's fine. But the ones who have been looking into the draft were, I think, I think people wanted Nestor still. So that's a great pick.
You know, if there wasn't Hawks Twitter, I think that a lot of people would have been really upset. But the fact, because just like you see people who are on the board, like Lakovich is the only one that comes to mind, maybe Malcolm Spence, but like Colin
He's
Potter
fell,
probably
fell
was never
though.
going to be the pick. Yeah. So, like when you look at the Nestrasil pick, like I feel like a lot of people didn't know who he was, but they still
Mhm.
saw how much support he was getting with the Blackhawks. And I don't know how, but me and Maxwell never talked about this, but we both, and then like very high. It seemed like the entire Blackhawks community like found this guy and we're like, this is the guy the Blackhawks need. Even maybe even before the Hawks, we have no idea. There was no like source or whatever until Vaslav's dad reached out to me and said there was serious interest, but that was about like 3 weeks before the draft. Like
Senior, what a beauty.
it was
Sorry.
like in March. It was like March when there was like stuff about Vaslav to the
Yeah.
Blackhawks coming out. It was like early on. So,
hmm
and
Yep.
he was supposed to go like 40 at the time, but we were like, nah,
Yeah, I
he's
thought we
going to,
might get him at 34, man. I thought
yeah.
34 was an option, and then I thought 34 was an option for Mason West. But we know how that went because Kyle Davidson he likes picking as many times as he can in that first round, and he did it again. And I think this one's exciting. I think this is a swing that if it hits, it's going out of the park and some. Um,
Both of them, Vaslav. But let's go to Mason West. Like, what do you see with him?
Oh man, Mason West, like what an interesting like prospect. Like personally, it just crazy to me like how much like hype his name garnered after the draft. Like he was the name that the podcasts were talking about. Like he was the name that was generating interactions on social media. And it's man, he's interesting because yeah, physical specimen, 6'6", like 220 at 17 years old. Like he might still be growing too. Like this, we might have like a legitimate mutant capable of like of killing somebody out on the ice. Uh, um, but the thing with West is obviously the football thing, and that's why it kind of makes it a swing. I think West goes way earlier if football, maybe not way earlier, but I think he goes earlier if football isn't a question.
Hmm.
Like if he's like definitely going to play hockey, played hockey last year. Um, I say two things that really stick out for Mason West for me is first of all, one, love the fact that we leapfrogged LA. Um, Perfect example of not to get too cute in the draft. If you have a guy, take him. And especially you see Twitter scouts and all the time, like, oh, like we took him here, but his value was slightly lower. We should have traded and got it. Mm-mm-mm. Ken Holland has showed us that you don't do that. You don't get too cute because you might lose your guy. He did it with Wallstat in Edmonton, and he's done it with Mason West in LA. So love the fact that we did that. Um, Second, I think it's like it's concern. I don't think it's concerning. I think it's a little overblown the whole football thing. Like I feel like one you can still develop as an athlete beyond playing hockey. It'd be better if he's playing hockey, but he can still develop as a physical athlete and like mentally. Like there's no more lucrative position and more pressure filled position than quarterback in football. Um, so it's like he's 17 years old, man. Like he's still a kid. And there's a part of me is just like, just let him be a kid. Like he was probably on this football team as a freshman. He's going into his senior year. He's probably got a really good relationship with all these boys, and he feels like if he steps down, then he might be letting them down. You know what I mean? So let him be a kid. Let him play on his football team. Let him be 17 years old, and then after that, you'll shift into hockey and it'll still work out. Like ideally, is he playing hockey? Yes, but is it gonna be detrimental towards the player that he can become? I don't necessarily think so. Um, and I think West's ceiling is it's one of the highest in the draft, maybe because we don't know what it is. But from the little bits you've seen and just how big he is, he's a exceptional skater for how big of a boy he is, man. And I could see him playing a really pivotal role for the Blackhawks in the future. Like I could see him getting some very important top six minutes and being a big time playoff performer.
Have you done your like top 10 Blackhawks prospects ranking since?
No, man, no, I haven't. It's weird because like most this would be the year I really have to think about it because Nazar and Renzel were like always my guys. Like it was Nazar would always be one, and then Renzel was not far behind, um, and then maybe more. And now they're here. Like they're not prospects anymore. Frank
I
Nazar
think
is a
Renzel still would be, but not Frank.
yeah, especially yeah. What he only played what 6 games, something like that.
But he showed that he wasn't a prospect, I think.
No, like I mean like you don't want to get too eager and maybe he doesn't come out as hot as he was when he was came in at the end of last year feeling confident, but he was our best defenseman in those 6 games and was like it was almost unfathomable how good of a skater, how good his hands, his offensive instincts. I never really thought that it was like, here, this guy will be our play one quarterback. I never like thought that was a realistic play. I always thought it was going to be Korchinski or then Levshinov. Now it's like, well, maybe it's Renzel, like or maybe it's Renzel and Levshinov. Like maybe it's both. But yeah, Renzel. Man, I don't even know who our top prospect. I mean, it's actually no, it's Frundell. Would it not be Frundell right now? I don't
I
have a
think it would
list in
be
front
like
of me.
Frondell, Levshunov, Renzel, like those
Is
three in
Leshinov
some
still
order.
a prospect though? Because he played like 20 some. Yeah, I'd say because he might
I
still
think
be
it's like
AHL
50.
time.
I
Yeah,
think it's like
okay.
50 or something. Even Korchinski probably is still a prospect. I
I'm
guess
worried about Korchinski, man.
I
We're,
know I
we're,
am too. I think Jackson Smith would have been the best move to try to flip him to try to get Jackson Smith somehow, just because the time resets. But
yeah.
yeah, if people say they're not worried about Korchinski, I think that that would be, a little blind to the situation. But also Korchinski has a lot of offensive skill, and you know,
Mhm.
like the thing about prospects is there's an inflection point that could hit any time. So they can just start to become superstars, and we're
Yeah,
like, how did that happen?
that's the
Oh,
thing about
it doesn't matter.
hockey in general too. Like every year to year, you'll just be like, oh yeah, this team's not gonna be good. And then bam, this guy comes out of nowhere. He's nasty. Remember
Mhm.
Minnesota? And then bam, Kirill Kaprizov, fifth round pick, comes out of fucking Russia. You're like, what? What?
Yeah,
Wait, this
it's
guy's
very baseball.
nasty. Panarin. I was like 15 when Panarin came to the team, and it was like, ooh, we just lost. Who? We lost Sod, and like, but this Russian kid is doing crazy things in preseason, and
Well,
bam.
we got Sod back for Panarin.
Oh hell yeah, man! Oh my god. Yeah, not a boy Bowman, but
But well, yeah, right. But the thing is, like, I could totally see a scenario where Korchinski gets like 10 goals this year and like 20 assists. And
he is
obviously his
like
minus
right at
number is gonna be
that
like minus
age.
14.
Yeah. He is like right at that age. Like, what is he, like 22, 21? Like, he's right
21,
at
I
that
think.
age where it's like, if you're going to grow more and you're going to, like, you're going to be, yeah, this is the year you'd like want to see like a big step. If he's still the player he was last season, next season, I'll be very concerned. But, um, yeah, he's just physically maturity, like around 21, 22. You're, yeah, you're definitely making some strides, or you should be.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
feel like the entire Blackhawks roster next year is going to be so exciting because it's all going to be prospects. Like, what was it like 2 years ago when Bedard was on? Like, the average age was like 29, 28.7 or something. And then this year, the Blackhawks are the second youngest team in the entire NHL. So it's
yeah,
just going to be
like
a complete different team. Like 25.6 is the average age.
I know, and I'm so curious what some of these guys are gonna look like. Like I see a situation where Moore is like an NHL lock, and he's just too responsible in his own end, and he's too good of a skater that they keep him around. I could also see him being line one in Rockford and playing every situation in Rockford. Same with Lardis. I think more so like I could see him being good enough goal scorer that they keep him in the top six in the NHL for a little bit. I think he's more of an AHL guy this year, definitely. But there's a chance. Like there's a chance that we see him. Defense, like we know we're getting Vlasic. We know we should get Rinzel and Levshunov, but
Yeah.
maybe we don't. Like where's like it's I'm really curious what the team's gonna look like. And so many young guys coming in that I could see us moving on from some people midway through the season, or like I don't think if Reichel doesn't come out swinging this year, I'd say he's probably gone. If Bertuzzi is like a really slow starter this year and it's just not up to par with the skating, I could see a situation where they move him off to a contender at the deadline, open up more space. So it's again, it's like I just want the season to start because I want to see what Blashill's gonna or like what the lineup's gonna look like, what guys make the team, and how they look. Like that first puck drop, like I'm gonna be clenching my cheeks a little bit because I'm gonna be like, man, we better be a little faster, a little more fun, a little more structured here. So
The roster on paper actually looks good. So like I could see a scenario where the Blackhawks kind of where are the Anaheim Ducks were, but like I wouldn't necessarily want it to only be veteran led. Like if it's Bertuzzi and Teuvo and like Nick Foligno, Sam Lafferty, Burkowski just doing everything, I would
Hmm.
kind of be a little upset. I do think that there's going to be a scenario where Connor Murphy might get traded at the deadline or maybe a little before. I think the
Yep.
Blackhawks could try to get a first round pick for him late first, maybe 2027 or 2028 first. I don't think they would
Yeah.
get a third. And I do believe that they will be picking three times in the first round next year, just because it feels like that's what they always do. But
At
I
some
don't
point,
know.
man, though, like at some point, like I'm all for building through the draft. This is the year that we see it. Like this is the year where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I see the fruits. Um, it is already starting to get to a point where it's like there's too many guys. Like
Yeah.
we need to see how they develop and which guys are going to be the guys. But there's like if you genuinely go through and like you have a little bit of an infatuation towards certain prospects and stuff, it's like damn, this is actually like hard to like because you don't want to plug certain guys down in the fourth line. Certain guys need to be top six to be successful, and it's like yeah, at some point we either need to move them or I don't know. Maybe we're just gonna keep taking swings until they all work. But um, or maybe we just sign Kaprizov, and that's our big thing. Got to get that in one more time. Uh,
If the
um,
Blackhawks somehow get Kaprizov, I think that they're an automatic, like, going to be perennial contender for. I feel like they're already close, but they need that one more superstar next to Bedard. I mean, if you're thinking that, like, Frondell isn't a superstar, but he's a complementary piece, and then Lardis and Kanserov aren't complete superstars, they're just, like, pretty good NHL players, because I do see a
yeah,
scenario
like
where
a
one of them is a superstar. I mean, just
mhm.
based on we see it all the time. Like, look at Matthew Boyd. I want to tell you about Matthew Boyd. He was signed as the Cubs' fifth starter this year, and now he's the best pitcher on the team. So, like, and everybody was upset that they signed him. Like,
Yep,
you should see it. It was like, who is this guy? Like,
yeah,
Steele is out for the entire season, and Matthew Boyd is taking the place as the block as the Cubs ace. So, like,
yeah,
in sports, you see really good seasons. Javi Baez was a very bad player for the last few years after being a superstar MVP, and now he's back to being like a star. Like, there
yeah,
are just seasons where guys feel a lot better than other players because everybody's kind of injured, and it's
yeah.
the same thing. Frank Nazar could have scored 100 goals last year. Like, I'm not
Holy
joking.
fuck!
Like, that
If he
dude could
gets
have
any
scored.
faster, too, man. If he gets any faster, he's gonna be the
Yeah,
fastest player in the league. Like man, like I think you
and
talk about
Oliver Moore's faster.
superstars. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Jesus. Yeah, man. He is a top. He's top 10 in the league for skating, I'd say. In the entire league. Well, fuck, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, one. You want to talk about superstars? We have one in the making.
Yeah,
In number 91.
and
I
98.
98. Yes, yes. 91. I think he's going to be a step above a really good player. I think he's going to have a level of clutchness and uh, big time moments that are really going to bring him to like a. I don't want to say Taves because their archetype is not the same.
Braden
Like
Point.
yeah, like a Braden Point, perfect because Braden Point at some points is more important or more impactful than Kucherov even is. So like I think Nazar 98 superstars. And then we'll start to look at the other guys how they develop. Um, I did have another train of thought there. I'm losing it, Don. I keep losing my train of thought here. Um, who were you talking about right before I went on that little
Frank
tangent about
Nazar and
Nazar?
Oliver Moore.
Walter Moore.
Just like speed, fastest players. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, yeah,
Bedard,
yeah.
like,
I guess it's not really about the players, but I just wonder, particularly with Bedard and the team's overall aura, the vibe of the team, the execution, schematics, all of it.
Mhm.
I wonder how much of it is going to be impacted with a whole new coaching system or a whole new coaching staff. Blashill, Pekka, Volushi, maybe beyond like Jimmy Waite and a Swordson. It's a brand new coaching staff, and that's the quickest way to get a ship to go in a different direction is to change your captain of the ship. So you get a new coach behind the bench. We've seen time and time again that can be enough to flip a switch for a team. Like there's how many times in NHL history has a coaching change been made and then bam, that team's just looking different. Rick Tocchet in Vancouver. Remember that he came in and then all of a sudden they're just a completely different team. So I wonder if Blashill and co, their presence, the way they do things, their schemes, all of it. I wonder just as a whole, that just affects the team in a really positive manner. How much of these last few years have been kind of because he's just been letting Bedard do his thing? The coaching staff isn't necessarily uh, pushing guys too hard or, pushing back too hard. Maybe giving young guys more leeway than they should. Um, so I and not that I know about any of that. I just wonder and could envision a scenario where it's like, hey, we have a whole new coaching staff. That could mean that our team looks completely different, and we have a lot of like really good, high potential, high ceiling players. So there's a chance that like we come out firing, man. Bedard is so fucking special, man. Fuck Celebrini, great player, but he doesn't have the offensive ceiling that Connor Bedard has. There's very few guys in the NHL that have the offensive ceiling that Connor Bedard has. This it all. So if we can get him going and we get him firing, it's going to be a fun season.
I think Celebrini is like has superstar like
Oh
IQ,
yeah.
hockey IQ, and all that, but he plays like a fourth liner. And the thing about it is like Bedard doesn't have that fourth liner mentality yet, but
Mhm.
he is probably starting to with all of the noise he's hearing. Like, you know how
That's
much
true.
he's working on his game this year more than probably the last year because I think, he was hurt and then the jaw injury and then he
Yeah.
needed to take a break and all of the stuff. And obviously he was still practicing as hard as possible. But this year it just looks like a different animal. You're
Yeah,
seeing
skipped out
things
on
that
the
we're
world
never going to see.
championships.
Yeah.
Like he,
And I'm not
yeah,
sure if that
no,
was a good decision
I
or
think it
bad.
was. I think it
Well,
was
I
because it
feel like
allows you.
just. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it just allows you to focus on your off-season like training regimen and kind of helps you focus on growing with your team. Not that it's like not beneficial to go to the Worlds, but he went there last year. Um, I think this year where the season really didn't go as he wanted, there's from what I'm gathering, there's some like big changes he's making with his off-season routines and his way of training. That kind of fully focusing on that is the right move. Like, not that it's, I don't know, it's a world championship gold, like, or whatever. They didn't even win a fucking medal. It means like really nothing. Like, he wants to have success in the NHL level, make the Olympic team eventually, and then, but right now, his full focus should be, and definitely is, becoming the best NHL player and best player in the NHL that he can be. And yeah, when I say fuck Celebrini, obviously Celebrini is an amazing player. Um, and as a Canadian, I'm gonna eventually benefit off of them playing together one day, which is gonna be fantastic. But there's starting to be a little bit of a rivalry starting here between San Jose and Chicago, and you just got to back your boys.
No, I completely agree, especially like on X, there's definitely a prospect pool rivalry, all of that stuff. The Penguins actually just got a new goalie from the Canucks, so just now. So I feel like
Oh man,
that's gonna be
cause
interesting.
Sidney Crosby must fucking hate Kyle Dubas, man. Like,
Dude, it's the top comments are like, "What are the Penguins doing?" Like it should be full tank on for McKenna, but now they're trying to make a playoff push. Like it
who
doesn't
they
really make any
sign?
sense. Well, they acquired Artur Silov from the
Oh,
Canucks for Chase
nice.
Stillman and a 2027 fourth. I don't know how to say the goalie's
What?
name, but yeah.
I don't know anything about Stillman, so but didn't Silovs not have like an unreal AHL playoffs? And then he was like, "There's yeah, I think Silovs is like a decent young goalie.
Yeah, I thought he was too. I was kind of surprised seeing that,
I'm surprised
the
Vancouver
Penguins.
moving on from him.
I don't know. Maybe Vancouver wants McKenna. Who knows?
Everybody wants McKenna, man, but none of them can have him besides Chicago when we jump 8 spots to win the lottery. It's just, yeah, it's
I'm kind of like happy that the Penguins are continuing to try to make moves. They just got Dumba, who's probably like cooked.
yeah,
Like the
he
Sharks are getting
sucks.
Reeves. The Sharks got Skinner. The Sharks are doing some weird things. So
Yeah, they
like
got
the
like Orlov, they got fucking Nick Leddy, like, it's all the bets. Like they got to plug those holes on defense somehow, man,
yeah
because they're not drafting them.
no they got Simon Wang, which is a upside play there. But they do have Sam Dickinson, but Sam Dickinson
Mm.
might be the Blackhawks like fourth best defensive
Yeah, he's
player under
good, but
25.
like, yeah, how does he line up next to three mutants and Vlasic, Levshinov, and Renzel? Like, we have three
And
pillars on defense, and we just watched the Florida Panthers fucking bully the Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, offensive powerhouse Edmonton Oilers. That doesn't tell you that we're headed in the right direction. I don't know. I don't know what to tell.
it's a lot harder
Oh,
to build an incredible defense with younger players because it takes longer
yep.
than it is for, you know, the Sharks who have an incredible top nine. Like their top six is bleeding into their top nine. You can't like Quentin Musty needs to be a top six player. I have no idea how he's going to fit in there. You have Misa McKenna, or you have Misa. Oh, I hope not McKenna, but you have Misa,
Yeah, knock on wood.
Celebrini, like Will Smith, Eklund.
Yep.
There's just so many players. But if I will say this, if the Sharks get the number one pick next year and get McKenna, I do believe that there's going to be some discussions in there that they want Keaton Verhoff because he's everything they need. Right-handed, super skilled, probably a top two pick in this class. The dude is a
Oh man,
fourth
could you
forward out
imagine
there.
that? They get first and then they don't take
Well, I think it
McKenna.
would be a trade down, or they would trade
Yeah.
like Will Smith, me. Like you can't. I really don't know how you can build a team with McKenna, Celebrini, Will Smith, and Misa and Eklund. Like one of them would have to get dealt for defensive help. Like
Yep.
obviously they could and have like the greatest team of all time on paper for under
No.
25. Like
Yeah.
they could, but that defense is going to get ran through. And
Mhm.
their goalie situation is absolutely incredible. You have Ravensbergen, you have
Yeah.
Harabel, and then you have Askarov. Like they have zero holes other than their defense. If they
Yeah,
get a
which is the
superstar
most
defenseman,
important thing, man.
it is. But it's just like, how can you go with? I know you can get McKenna easily if you're drafting number one, but the Sharks are probably not as like they don't really need McKenna, I think, as much as like the team like the Blackhawks or the Penguins or something like that. So it is interesting.
Yep. I agree.
But any closing thoughts on the Blackhawks? What are your predictions? Like point total predictions, Connor Bedard prediction for point totals?
Oh man. Fuck. I don't know. I have no idea what my prediction is going to be. I haven't really sat and thought about it. I think I want the Hawks to kind of be in that Anaheim range. Like I think they're going to be a bottom six team, probably between 3 and 6. I don't think they're going to be the worst team in the NHL, but I don't think they're going to be much better than that. Um, Bedard, I'm expecting point per game. That's I predict that Bedard is point per game. I would say like 25 goals at the minimum, 25, 30 goals point per game. Um, and then yeah, that would be my big thing. And like I said, it's really just a season for it's exciting to see the youth roll in. So it's just like it's gonna be, oh hey, we're getting 9 games of Lardis. Like let's really tune in and see what this is like. We're getting Cancerov at the end of the season. Frondell's here, Beauvois here. It's gonna get pretty exciting pretty quick. And then going into next season, it's gonna be like, holy shit, where do we play all these guys? And then we'll start to see like the Kaprizov signing in Chicago, and some other things that are going to occur. And yeah, so I think it's a fun time. And I encourage Blackhawks fans to approach this season with an optimistic lens. It's not quite the time to be bashing down the door of the UC with the pitchforks. Maybe at the end of next year, if it's really shitty, I'll be there with you. But for now, I think let's embrace this youth movement and have fun with it. That's all we can really do here.
So Frank
And
Saravalli on Bleacher Report said 3 minutes ago, Kirill Kaprizov's negotiations have been going well. So it
uh,
means nothing. But
no, yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah.
maybe the negotiations are saying like I'm not
Chances
signing.
are he's probably gonna. I mean, chances are he's gonna resign. Like they're just gonna give him like fucking 8 years times literally just whatever he wants in Minnesota.
Yeah.
The only hope you're hoping for with Chicago is that he kind of follows some of that Russian um, tendency to want a big city, New York or wherever. Like there has been a little bit of a tendency um, for Russians to want the big city, but it also might be a complete non-factor. So, and this all really just stems from like an athletic article that was like half true from Mark Lazarus talking about Kaprizov to Chicago, rumblings on the draft floor the year Bedard was drafted. But nonetheless, it's funny to see to get the Minnesota fans a little bit nervous because as a Chicago fan, you have their number. Uh, um, it'd be great, but probably not going to happen. Probably just going to have the insane amount of youth roll in. Um, yeah, but yeah, that's I don't know where else to go from here. Uh, yeah,
I'll close it out. So, I mean, there's just a lot to look forward to for next, year and then the off season. But I'm gonna say 2027, 2028. Like I think the Blackhawks are gonna be in a spot where like the next 5 years after that, they're gonna be perennial contenders. And I honestly think like there's a good shot that they're gonna finish with the top three pick and they're gonna try to get like one of the guys, but because we thought James Higgins was the number one pick, anything could change in Porter
yep,
Martone. But if the Blackhawks are like 6 or 7, there's still a great class for that. So just
hmm
take the wins whenever a prospect scores, get really excited. It's going to be really fun. But thank you so much, Ovi, for coming on. You can check all of his stuff out on X and YouTube at Ovi Clapbomb. And
yeah.
just always fun collabing with you. And this is your moment to tell everybody what you're working on and what you got coming up.
It's off season, so there's not a whole lot going on. Feet up, just chilling. The one thing I am gonna say with complete and utter confidence is that this is the year that Frank Nazar puts his name on the map. This is the year your mom, your girlfriend, your brother, whoever it is,
Yeah.
learns the name Frank Nazar. So get ready because the youth movement's here, Don.
It's true. It's true. And hopefully he'll be friend of a program and come on to all of our channels on X because everybody loves Frank Desar. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on, man. This was awesome.
Yes, sir. Until next time.